Okay, it's great to be here. My name is Shirin Dehghan. I'm a senior partner at Frog Capital. We are a European VC based in London, specializing and focused on scale-up. And I'm very pleased and delighted to be here with Michael Kent, who's one of our portfolio CEO founders, and he's going to tell you all about Azimo, this exciting company that he's founded and grown and made successful in the fintech industry. The one thing that is probably worthy of note is that Michael has not always been in fintech, and in fact, in his first job, he worked at MTV for the Spy Skills. So if we have time, we might want to cover that as well at some point. But Michael, we're delighted to be here, and please go ahead and introduce Azimo.
Thank you, and who knew that Berlin could be so stunning? So Azimo is a cross-border payments business. We are based out of London, which has become a bit of a fintech hub. We transfer well over $1 billion of customer money on an annualized basis, and we serve about 1.5 million customers on the send and receive ends. So we're a big European cross-border consumer play in financial services. Interesting things about Azimo: the business was started 5 years ago. It's still scaling at about 100% year on year, and we've been very rapidly growing in some of the other non-UK European markets. So Germany, France, Spain are big and growing markets for us as we continue to scale.
That's fantastic. And obviously, this is a great market, the payment market. What are the big trends do you see happening?
So it's been a really interesting couple of weeks, actually. I would have said that public markets were going to be a trend in fintech, something to keep Marco and all his banker colleagues happy. But actually what I'm seeing now is consolidation. So I think one of the things that we've witnessed in payments has been a lot of people either buying into the sector, people taking assets off the market before they go public. I think the Azimo deal was a big part of that. In the last couple of weeks, PayPal came in there at a huge increase to the price. And I think that's what you're going to see more of as this sector develops. You're going to have the traditional guys coming in. So you have people like Western Union, MoneyGram, some of the banks who are interested in getting back into payments. They've kind of let the sector go for too long, and they realize they need it. I think you're going to have a few of the less traditional guys, Google, Facebook. Everyone's watching to see what those people do in payments. And then we've been having some interesting conversations with people in the telecom sector. And they're facing declining revenue, margin compression, and they want to be part of the financial lives of their customers. They already have a very close relationship with them in terms of their smartphone, and so they're interested in businesses like Azimo, which can allow them to just expand that share of wallet and get closer to the financial lives of their customers.
That's brilliant. And in terms of the actual sector, obviously it's a crowded sector. So what are the opportunities and threats do you see? How do you differentiate yourself?
Sure. I mean, I always get a little bit upset about the crowded sector question because, I don't know if people think the banking sector is crowded. Europe is a huge market. There are dozens, hundreds in certain markets of banks, and nobody tells the CEOs they're in a crowded market every time they go on stage. But to answer your point, the European market is about $130 billion. That's just consumer cross-border. If you take business as well, it's in the trillions. There are, in terms of high street money transfer companies, that flow is almost exclusively handled by the high street at the moment. If you go down to the train station in Berlin, you will see Western Union, MoneyGram, and queues out the door, but that will change. So in 5 years' time, this business is going to be 100% digital. Those high street locations, rather like the bookstores, will disappear, and you're going to see very large companies like Azimo, but there are other players in the market taking the lion's share of that migration onto digital. So I think probably the one thing that the Adyen IPO, the Azemo IPO, some up doing stuff here later, has shown us is that this market is big enough to build multiple billion-dollar companies in the sector. Payments are becoming an invisible piece of everyone's lives, and yeah, we see the. I suppose there are some noisy companies in the space, and I would count myself as one of them. But we think the market is huge, growing very fast, and more than big enough for all of us.
Fantastic. And in scaling your business, obviously, very impressive statistics up there. How would you advise other entrepreneurs who are going through scaling their business to choose the right partner as VC, for example?
It's a great question. It's one I was actually asked by a fellow entrepreneur earlier this morning. So the first thing I always say is when you're choosing a capital provider, particularly when you're starting out or the A to B, the C rounds of funding, this is definitely a marriage, multi-year marriage rather than a one-night stand. So it becomes very important to get to know the whole of the partnership team of the institutional investor that you're talking to. I'm very keen on people who have a range of experience. So I like VCs and private equity people where they haven't necessarily just come through investment banking or the corporate finance practices of accounting firms. I quite like people that have been entrepreneurs, or if they haven't been entrepreneurs, have done at least 2 economic cycles in the sector, so that they know the ups and downs. The last thing you want is necessarily a young VC who's going to get freaked out when stuff happens, because you've been an entrepreneur yourself.
Indeed, yes.
Stuff happens. That's the one thing we can guarantee. So yeah, those would be the important things. I think the really good VCs in Europe, and there are many of them who are active at this event, you guys included, and we've been very, very happy with the input from Frog, can really accelerate the development of company. As a CEO, you are massively short of time, but they can help you on the HR side, they can help you on the strategy side, and they can introduce you to the next round of funding, or indeed, exit partners. So, do your homework. If the guys are spending 2-3 weeks doing diligence on you in advance of giving you a term sheet or executing a deal, you should be using that time to talk to everyone you possibly can who's ever had anything to do with that VC. That would be my advice. But no, it's great, and we're really happy with how things have worked out with all our investors. We've got some great ones on the slate.
Yeah, fantastic, and that really resonates with me. I mean, as you said, I started my own software business in the early 2000, and I had VC investors, and those were exactly the qualities I was looking for. And it's always better to have a VC fund that has operational experience as well as fund and other types of experience. So very insightful. Thank you so much. And that brings us to the end of our Fireside Chats. Thank you so much for listening to us.
Thank you very much.